Electric vehicles, or EVs, were supposed to lead us into a cleaner, more efficient future. No more fumes, no more oil changes, and definitely no more gas pumps. Yet, a surprising number of EV owners are jumping ship and switching back to gas-powered cars. Yeah, you heard that right. Even those early adopters who proudly declared they'd never touch a gas nozzle again are now quietly trading in their EVs. So, what's causing this shift? Is it the cost, the range anxiety, or maybe the infrastructure? Well, the answer isn't as simple as you'd think. In today's video, we'll explore the real reasons EV owners are falling out of love with electric vehicles. Stick around, because later on, we're diving into how Tesla's losing grip on its customers and why hybrid vehicles might just be the real winners of this race. Let's start with the financial side, because let's face it, money talks. EVs were marketed as long-term savings machines, promising lower maintenance and fuel costs. But that's not exactly how things panned out. Batteries need replacing, and those replacements, they aren't cheap. Depending on the car, a new battery pack could cost you thousands of dollars. And don't forget, the price of electricity has also been climbing in certain areas, cutting into those promised savings. Even with government incentives, many buyers are feeling the financial sting. A study by McKinsey found that 46% of EV owners are planning to switch back to gasoline-powered cars. For these drivers, the initial allure of owning an EV has worn off, and it's been replaced by the reality of rising costs. Between higher sticker prices, costly repairs, and fluctuating energy rates, owning an EV doesn't feel like the sweet deal it once promised to be. Charging infrastructure, or the lack thereof, is one of the biggest complaints from EV owners. Sure, charging your car at home works great for local commutes, but things get tricky when you venture beyond the city. Finding a charging station on the highway can feel like a treasure hunt, with a lot of dead ends. It's not just about availability either. Too many stations are either broken or occupied, forcing drivers to wait longer than they'd like. Globally, 35% of people surveyed said they were dissatisfied with the availability of chargers, and 40% complained that chargers along highways were either missing or in poor condition. Imagine this, you're cruising along the interstate, your battery dips below 10%, and the next charging station is 50 miles away. Yeah, suddenly that good old gas pump starts looking pretty appealing. Despite technological advancements, range anxiety remains a real issue. Even the best non-luxury EVs top out at 250 miles per charge, and that's under ideal conditions. Add in cold weather, hills, or even a fully loaded car, and that range plummets. Drivers who rely on their vehicles for long commutes or road trips are finding that EVs just aren't cutting it. This frustration is reflected in the numbers. A recent report shows that only 37% of Ford Mustang Mach-E owners stuck with another EV after trading in their vehicle. The rest, they either went back to gas or chose a hybrid, looking for something that offers more flexibility. People don't want to plan their lives around their car's battery. They want a vehicle that can keep up with their lifestyle. For years, Tesla was the gold standard of electric vehicles. If you wanted an EV, you got a Tesla, period. But that dominance is starting to crumble. According to S&P Global, loyalty among non-Tesla EV owners has dropped from 81% in 2021 to just 52% in 2023. That's a shocking decline. Even Tesla owners, once the most loyal group in the EV world, are starting to look at other options, or back at gas-powered cars. It's not just the loyalty issue either. Many automakers rushed to release their own EV models, hoping to cash in on the electric craze. But the reality is, not all EVs are created equal. Some models have struggled with software issues, mechanical breakdowns, and of course, poor battery performance. Buyers expecting Tesla-level quality have been disappointed, leading them to reconsider the whole electric thing altogether. Hybrid vehicles are becoming the go-to choice for many former EV owners. Why? Because they offer the best of both worlds. You can drive on electric power for your daily commute and switch to gasoline when you need to go farther. It's a compromise that just makes sense, especially for people who aren't ready to fully commit to an all-electric lifestyle. We're seeing this trend play out with brands like Ford, Many former EV owners who gave up on electric driving have opted for Ford's hybrid SUVs and trucks instead. Hybrids give them the flexibility they need, no range anxiety, no endless searches for charging stations, and no sudden repair surprises. It's clear that for many drivers, hybrids are still hitting that sweet spot that EVs just can't. The US government is investing heavily in charging infrastructure, with a goal of installing 500,000 chargers across the country by 2030. That sounds promising, but there's still a long way to go. The problem isn't just about building chargers, it's about maintaining them. Many EV owners complain about arriving at stations only to find them out of service. Until these problems are resolved, infrastructure will remain a major roadblock to EV adoption. Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg has argued that things will improve over time, especially as more chargers are built and vehicle prices come down. But former President Trump has a different take. He's criticized the electric vehicle push, claiming that it's a waste of money and that people don't even want EVs. Whether you agree with him or not, it's clear that the transition to electric vehicles isn't happening as smoothly as some had hoped. So does this mean that EVs are a failed experiment, or is this just a bump in the road? Well, the answer lies somewhere in between. The push for cleaner energy and more sustainable transportation isn't going anywhere. Climate goals, environmental policies, and consumer trends are still pointing toward an electric future. But right now, it feels like that future is moving in slow motion. The reality is that the switch from gas to electric was never going to be smooth or fast. Think back to when gasoline cars first started replacing horses and carriages. There were skeptics back then, too. It took years to build the necessary infrastructure, lower the cost of production, and get the general public on board. In many ways, EVs are at that awkward transition phase right now. Automakers are building cars faster than the infrastructure can keep up, and consumers are struggling to adjust their habits to match the limitations of these vehicles. Now, let's be real, EVs do have undeniable advantages. They're quieter, require less routine maintenance, and when charged using renewable energy sources, they reduce your carbon footprint. But here's the thing, most consumers aren't just looking at environmental benefits when they buy a car. They care about convenience, reliability, and affordability. Things that, at the moment, many electric vehicles are still struggling to deliver. So, are EVs the future? The answer is yes, but not in the immediate way many people expected. The technology will continue to improve, the infrastructure will get better, and prices will eventually come down. But it's going to take time, patience, and a lot of adjustments along the way. What we're seeing right now is a correction, a moment where consumers are stepping back and reevaluating whether the promises of electric vehicles fit their current needs. In the meantime, hybrids are likely to play a significant role in bridging the gap. They offer a practical solution, especially for those who want to dip their toes into electric driving without fully committing. And as automakers continue to refine their electric offerings, the EV market will evolve, not as a revolution overnight, but as a gradual transition over the next decade or so. There you have it, the real reasons EV owners are switching back to gasoline cars. From rising costs to charging frustrations, range anxiety, and the lure of hybrids, the electric revolution isn't unfolding as quickly as many people thought. What do you think? Are EVs just a passing fad, or are they still the way of the future? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more content like this. Thanks for watching.